And we need to continue to say this out loud because a lot of teachers don't seem to get it. These are not your kids. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for the support. On my channel, I like to give my opinion and perspective on things that are happening today, things that I think actually matter to everyday people, especially those of us trying to raise kids in the insanity known as today's society. Please like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and share it with others. Also, be sure you are subscribed. Help me to grow this channel and hopefully reach more people that value logic, reason, and sanity. Also, be sure to find me on Rumble under Outspoken Samantha in the event that YouTube decides I have violated their community standards and chooses to kick me off their platform forever. That being said, let's get into today's topic. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that there has just been this thing happening probably for a lot longer than we have been aware, but especially over the last couple years where far too many school districts, teachers, educators, activists seem to think that school classrooms are their own personal training camps for activism in the causes that they believe in and the philosophies that they adhere to, and that they can essentially do whatever it is that they want with the students in their classroom simply because they're in charge for those 8 hours. And of course, a lot of this came to light when COVID happened because all of our kids were at home and parents started to see what it was that their kids were actually learning in the classroom and started to have a lot of questions about what it was. So this has obviously activated a lot of parents to get involved, probably in the ways that we should have been beforehand, but more so now, get involved in curriculum that is happening in schools, to go through the libraries and make sure that the books that our kids have access to are appropriate, to comb through their homework and make sure that it is focused on education and academics versus politics and agendas, and to keep a closer eye on things and to call teachers in schools out when they are acting inappropriately or putting things in the classroom that are distracting from education or detrimental to kids actually progressing and learning and moving through the milestones that they should be at for their age group and for their grade. And this activism on the parents' part, this movement on the parents' part, this involvement on the parents' part has been effective. We've been able to pull out books from school libraries that should never have been there in the first place, that were extremely inappropriate. And astonishing that we would even have to do that, because we should be able to trust that when our kids go to school, they're not being exposed to things that child predators would expose them to and make excuses for in giving these things to children. We should be able to trust that when our kids go to school, they are getting an actual education, that they are learning the things that they need to learn, like reading and writing and spelling and critical thinking and accurate history and science and all of these things, and not coming home with their heads filled with the things that their teachers personally believe. I do feel like what parents are doing has made a big difference, but there is still a lot of work to do. And we continue to see that a lot of teachers just aren't getting the message, that they still feel like classrooms are just their own personal recruitment camps to turn students into their cheerleaders for the causes that they think are most important or the things that they believe, and essentially giving a big middle finger to parents and what it is that their parents want to teach them at home. Libs of TikTok posted a couple of videos of essentially these teachers that, again, seem to think that they can do whatever the heck they want in the classroom and to disregard what it is that parents want and disregard the values that they may have at home, that these students may have at home in their families, and to make fun of what parents are doing in removing these explicit, these sexually graphic materials from school. Parents aren't going in and just pulling books for the sake of pulling books. We understand the value of reading. We understand in fostering a love of reading in kids as they're young, that can be extremely beneficial throughout their lives. And we want them to explore different ideas and different concepts and to get an understanding of the world through different stories and different cultures. That is so important, and nobody is disputing that. That is not the argument. The fact that these books like Genderqueer and Lawn Boy have pictures and graphic descriptions of sexual acts that are just, this material just doesn't need to be in the classroom. But this, one of the videos that was posted, it is of this teacher using students to act out a skit that is mocking this movement, that is making it seem like, we're just pulling books for the sake of it. It's just really, really tasteless and so incredibly disrespectful. So let me play the clip. It's about 2 minutes long. And then while you're watching it, in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this issue and the problems that it could create. And on the other side of it, I'll share with you what I think the problem is.
I'm about to run up on these kids and start banning these books right away.
Hey, what y'all reading? Harry Potter? You reading Harry Potter? Oh, witchcraft. Gotta go. Hey. A black boy? No, absolutely not. What you reading? The Hate You Give? I'm gonna give you something to hate. This book's gone. Say goodbye. What you reading? I wonder how you feel once this book is gone. Say goodbye. What you reading? What in the, gotta go, class act. What is this class act? I'll show you a class act. This book, say goodbye. You, hey, what you reading? Holes. Digging up holes? I'm gonna dig up a hole and bury this book in it.
POV. A Florida classroom.
Hey, what are you reading? I made a mistake. You cannot be reading. Look at what they're reading in here. Look at this. Absolutely not. No, I made a mistake. The dictionary is a no. Give me the book. Your diction will be lesser now. You will not know these words. These words are atrocious. I shall not read books. Books are bad. If I read, it's approved by the feds. Y'all hear that? Yeah. Hey, what in the? What's going on in here? Is that a book? Is this a book?
No.
Take care of her. Take care of her.
As you can see, this teacher clearly thinks that this issue that parents are taking very seriously is funny. And not only that, he is making light of it with the students, which is so inappropriate. I did a video probably a couple of weeks ago about the books that have been pulled out of school libraries. Genderqueer has explicit images of teenagers performing sex acts on each other. It's a graphic novel, so the whole thing is pictures. Lawn Boy has descriptions of 10-year-old boys performing sex acts on each other. These are the books that parents have been worried about and that have been pulled out of hundreds of school libraries across the country. So this is not an isolated incident. It's not just one or two things. And obviously this is a big issue. It's a big deal. This is a problem if these are things that our kids can go into the library and sign out. And most of the time, if not all the time, they have no idea that that's what they're signing out. They're getting an idea that these books are about things that they're not, and they're not aware of what's in it until it's staring them in the face. And parents have been, rightfully so, outraged about realizing what it is that their kids are reading. And this is a problem because obviously protecting our kids and helping them grow and develop in a healthy way, both physically, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, all of these things are crucial. To see this guy make fun of it is so disrespectful. And if parents are concerned about something, it matters to parents, it needs to matter to teachers. Education is a partnership between parents and teachers. It's not just a matter of parents. We drop our kids off and we don't care about what happens in the classroom with their teacher for those 8 hours. We need to know what's happening. We need to know how they're developing. We need to know what their homework is and what it is that they're learning so that we can partner with the teacher and help them grow in their education when they're at home as well. It's not only the fact that he's making a joke of something that probably a lot of these very students, their parents have an issue with, but he's using their own children against that issue that their parents have a problem with. And we need to continue to say this out loud because a lot of teachers don't seem to get it. These are not your kids. You are there to do a job, and that is to provide an education. And in that role, their academic success is your top priority, making sure that they are reading and writing and meeting the academic milestones of their age group and of their grade, and that they know how to respect the rules of the classroom environment. They learn to work with their peers, and they learn to thrive in a structured setting, because that is what they're going to have to do as an adult, as they get a job, as they get a career, as they go to college. These are things that they are going to have to understand how to be successful in, because that is going to help them succeed in, the settings that they are going to most likely end up in as an adult. Teachers that pull crap like this are not putting students first. They're putting themselves first. They don't care about the impact that they're having on children's education, or the fact that they are interrupting valuable instruction time to make TikTok videos so that they can make a statement about their own politics, about their own philosophies. And they have no problem using these kids and imposing on their education, mocking their parents' concerns, minimizing that parent-teacher relationship, and worst of all, minimizing the input that their own parents have a right to have in their education and in their growth, and yes, in the classroom. And this brings me to the last big problem I see with this whole situation and what this teacher is doing. And to me, this is the worst aspect of it and what he's doing. And it's the impact that he's having on these children's psychology. What he's doing is taking something that their parents have brought, to the attention of schools and said, this is a big deal. This is a problem. And he is using these students, as I said, to make fun of it. And what that is going to do is in the future, if their parents, on any issue that their parents see as a problem, if their teacher is teaching them that the things that their parents are concerned about are silly, it's going to impact their parents' ability to keep them safe and to have it put on things to make sure that they're getting an education that they need, and also not being exposed to things that they shouldn't be exposed to. And if teachers can minimize the importance of removing books from school libraries that are not appropriate for kids and minimize the parents' reaction to this issue, there's no telling what other issues they can do that on. They are driving that wedge between parents and their own kids and saying that whatever issue that your parents bring attention to in the future is silly. Listen to me. I am your teacher. Your parents are overreacting. And that really, puts kids in danger when they start to lose trust in their own families, the people that actually do love them and actually do have their well-being in mind and who prioritize them over everyone else, as opposed to, again, these teachers that are only thinking of themselves. I came across this second video on Libs of TikTok where this teacher in the classroom is having Black students treat white students as slaves.
POV, a Florida classroom.
And so many problems with this. I know it is Black History Month, and I know what this teacher thinks that they were doing. Essentially, they were trying to help white kids understand what slavery was like, but this teacher missed the mark by about 1,000,000 miles. They missed it in every possible way that there is to miss something. This is going to do nothing to teach any kid, a white kid, a Black kid, an Asian kid, about what slavery was actually like. Nothing. We all agree that slavery was horrendous, but it was a legal practice all over the world at that time, and people of all classes and ethnicities were subject to it. It impacted millions of innocent people these people were viewed as less than human and treated unimaginably bad. And it was something that was legal in the US until a war was fought by people of all skin colors on both sides, and the group who was against slavery, that consisted of both Black and white people, we won and we abolished it, thankfully. And there are numerous history books and lessons that can be used to provide a full, comprehensive understanding of this aspect of American history. And because we are all human beings with hearts and souls, we can grasp how awful it was without actually having to act it out. What these kids are doing is nothing like slavery or what actual slaves went through. Whether the slaves were white or Black, it's not going to do anything to teach kids what slave owners were like, whether the slave owners were white or Black. It's doing nothing to accomplish what this teacher says that they're trying to accomplish. What this teacher is actually trying to do is to teach these kids the CRT version of American history and the CRT version of slavery, which is essentially that all white people, enslaved all black people, and that everything in American history is based on racism, and that is something we are completely irredeemable of, and that racism is ingrained in every aspect of American life. And what she's doing is sowing seeds into the brains of these kids that the white kids owe something to the black kids, that the worldviews that each hold are associated solely with their skin color, and that there's 100% nothing that they can do about it. And that all black people are oppressed because of their skin color, and all white people are oppressors because of their skin color. But this is doing nothing to teach kids the accurate lesson in U.S. history, but rather this woke revisionist history. And again, taking over a classroom to push your personal beliefs and your personal philosophies and your personal politics into the brains of kids simply because you're in charge of them for 8 hours. And screw what parents think. Give them the big middle finger. It doesn't matter if you want to teach your kid to be an individual. It doesn't matter if you want to teach your kid to be accountable for their own actions or to make good decisions, and that, you know, the actions of other people are not reflective of them, or whatever it is. Like that you're not allowed to teach your kid that at home. And even if you do, when they come to our classroom, we're going to completely erase it and teach them the things that we think that they should know. Be part of this woke agenda, this woke indoctrination, this woke activism. And trying to teach kids things like this is completely despicable, and it is evil. It is erasing their individuality. It is erasing the idea that through their own individual hard work, regardless of their skin color, that they can achieve anything, and that they will be held back by these irredeemable history for the rest of their lives, and that they're going to owe people simply because of how they look. And I have heard that the teacher from the first segment, the one that was doing the skits of the book burning, that he has been put on leave and is set to be fired. So that is a relief, because you don't belong in a classroom. You do not belong in the presence of children. And if you want to be an activist, you know, go out into the street with your poster board and scream and yell and do whatever you need to do, but don't involve kids in it. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear what you think. I would also love to hear any other insights that you have and the problems that you see with stuff like this happening in classrooms. Hit the notification bell to be notified every time I post a video. Be sure you are subscribed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.